All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I am the Inland Empire Informer, nationally known as the Recovering Democrat. You can see me on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and also on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Dimitri K Show, where we give commentary and our opinions on all sorts of subjects, political, entertainment, sports, you name it, we do it. Tune in to the Dimitri K Show Sundays, 5 p.m. Central. Sundays, and Dimitra drops videos all throughout the week. Also, please do not forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play, Apple Store, where you're going to see great videos from Brother Phil Scott, Dimitra K, my compadre, Vicky Dillard, Juan Gale, and a whole host of other contributors talking about what is going on all around the African diaspora that affects people of African descent, Caribbean descent, Black American descent, FBA descent, all over the diaspora. So it's very important that you guys tune in and download that information. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. I think once or twice a year, Brother Phil gives a discount. The best discount is lifetime, because you know prices continue to go up and up and up. But if you get at the basement bottom lifetime right now, it will never go up again. Or you can do like I do, you get an annual subscription. That way you don't have to worry about your credit card or your debit card, whatever you use, to keep being charged every month, right? So, depends on how you want to do it. But the African Diaspora News Channel app, not only are you going to see great videos that you already see on YouTube, but you see exclusive content. So that's another reason why to get it. And I get a lot of my information when it comes to what is going on in Africa and what is going on in the Caribbean from the African Diaspora News Channel app and YouTube page. So please do us a favor and download that. I want to talk about something tonight. I'm going to talk about the thing that affects black people most right now currently in the United States, and that's illegal immigration. As you guys know, we have a lot of people that claim to be these super Christians and, oh, the Lord said this and we should welcome the foreigner and all this other stuff. Yes, that is correct. We should welcome the foreigner when the foreigner comes into the country the right way. The Bible also says, obey Caesar's laws. So when a foreigner illegally comes into the country, they are going against the word of God. So, we could spin this, 100 million ways till next Sunday, and everybody's going to get their side, right? But illegal immigration, it affects black people most because this system, we are at the bottom of the system, like I've talked about on my podcast several times. And a lot of people, I thank you guys for the encouragements and you guys that actually do get it. This has nothing to do with being racist or this, that. No, we are delineating. We have to start doing what is best for us, because like a lot of people out there, I'm also tired of seeing other groups come into this country, and within 5 to 6 years, they get all the support and all the resources they need to be successful. We've been here since the beginning. And I'm not talking about just the beginning of the United States. I'm talking about we've been on the continent since the beginning. And let's not get into theatrics and all that other, stuff. All the continents were merged together before they broke up, which means black people have been on all of the continents. Everything started from black. It's simple as that. It's been proven. That's it. We don't need to discuss that anymore. So, all of you liberal people out there that are, for this madness of illegal immigration, what do you have to say about that trucker that came into the country illegally and killed 3 people? Sanctuary city states are giving licenses to people who can't even read basic road sign or understand basic English. What do you guys tell their families? Because if you go in any other country, You do something like that, man. I'm gonna tell you guys, I lived in Japan, and in Japan, let's say, and I've used this analogy several times. In Japan and a lot of Asian countries, let's say I'm in my parking spot, right? And I was there in a military capacity. I was a kid, military kid. Let's say, and that's why they didn't want to give us teenagers driver's license, because there's too many things that could happen, right? But let's say you could drive on base. You just couldn't drive off base, right? If your parents let you drive. So let's say I'm in my parking spot, right? I look both ways and I just merge into the traffic, right? All of a sudden, bang, boom, a Japanese national hits me. Do you know what the Japanese law is? Even though I didn't hit him, he hit me. Who's at fault in an accident like that? You guessed it, I am. Because their reasoning is, if you weren't a foreigner, the accident wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be in their country. That is their reasoning. In general, I'm not saying, overall. But most accidents over in Japan, because of status of forces agreements and stuff like that, so we got all these little treaties. But in general, the general thought is foreigners that do things like that, where the Japanese guy hits the foreigner, it's the foreigner's fault. Didn't do anything wrong, but they hit me. But their group of thinking is, well, you shouldn't be in our country to begin with. So if you weren't here, the accident would have never happened. So all of you bleeding heart liberals that are, oh, everybody should be here and, there's no problems. I live in California. I'm on a border state. So I've been dealing with this for years. Border states, we've been dealing with this for years. I was walking my neighborhood like I do every day because I have my dog, right? When I had the Wonder Pup Bell, every day I walked when I was home, right? I'm going to show you guys a video of my park area. Now, the graffiti that you're going to see is not at the park. It's across the street from the park on the back wall of somebody's private property. Okay? And I want you to look at the graffiti and listen to my narrative of what has happened to whatever, and we'll get back to just take a look at it, and then you guys tell me if you think this is okay.
What you guys are seeing is, I don't understand the language. Either these are MS-13 wannabes, or I don't know what else to call it. But this is what happens, partly, when you let illegal migrants that deal with cartels and criminality into your community. EMLX3. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a sub-gang of MS-13. I don't know. But all you bleeding heart liberals that is for open immigrations, this is what us, the regular people, have to deal with. Resources to stop bullshit like that, which should be going to youth centers and senior centers. We have to spend resources on bullshit like this. Illegal immigration. They don't give a damn. These are their children. Some of them. But oh, let everybody in. Oh my God. Can't let them in the right way so we could vet them. No, you just let the floodgates in, and then we have to deal with it. So just continue to live in your gated communities as you imprison yourselves and don't know what real freedom is really about. See, when you're on a border state, we have dealt with this shit for years. But now that it's coming to the interior and your budgets are being busted, now you want to know why. This is why. Resources that should be going to the citizens are now going to fix things like this and deal with bullshit.
Okay, we're back. So, you saw all this mass graffiti and all kinds of stuff from some kind of gang or sub gang trying to be MS-13 or whatever, right? These are young people who've never really come up here, okay? Not to that degree. These are people who have migrated into this country, into my neighborhood, by throwing that type of graffiti. We've had graffiti, but not like that. That's driving my property taxes down. If we let that graffiti stand, it's driving my property tax down. And here's the funny thing. I walk my park every day. I make sure my community is taken care of. And anybody that knows me will tell you that. They'll go, yeah, Donovan's pretty... Where Donovan stays, it's going to be the way it is. You see graffiti like that, and you've got grown Hispanic, Latino people that will not call it in. Not all of them, I can't really say that, but a majority of them. Just standing around thinking it's perfectly okay. This is perfectly okay to live like this. Because, number one, they're not homeowners. Their property taxes aren't going to... Why should they care? But while you guys sit in your gated communities not having to deal with this type of stuff, normal people like myself, we have to deal with this. And the word around Edgemont is, you can do what you think you want to do, but when that little black guy comes walking around, you don't want to mess with that. That guy goes nuclear. And I'm not just trying to pat myself on the back. People that know me, and some of you guys that know how active I am in my community, know I don't play, especially with younger people. As I was taking the video, there was a bunch of teenagers that I've never seen before. And they built some apartments and stuff, the park wasn't built for what they built around it, but it's an active, very active park now because they built these family apartments around the area. So I'm seeing all these new teenagers that have nowhere to go, condoms in the damn street, they're screwing in the cars and all kinds of, and unfortunately I live in a Hispanic neighborhood. I can't say it's mostly Asian. I can't say it's black. There really ain't no black people here. I'm like the last one standing. So it's mostly Hispanics. And I'm seeing these roving gangs of teenagers, as I was videoing that, acting like they're going to intimidate somebody, and I had to turn and look at them like, if you want some, come get some. It's as simple as that. But see, we have to deal with this. I don't know what this gang is. I don't know what these glyphics mean. But these people are now in my neighborhood. We didn't have this type of problem before. I mean, we had a pop team in the 90s that ran the gangs out of here. This is something new. This is something new. But you guys sit behind your little cherry walls in middle America, never having to deal with this before, because you're worried about who's going to cut your lawn, who's going to pick your fruit. As long as you're behind your little sanctuary thing, you're fine. But what about those of us that don't want to be incarcerated? Incarcerating ourselves in our homes like we're living in Mexico. Why do you think most Mexicans build these fences and things to enclose themselves in? Because they come here with the mentality of cartel danger. But you're trying to tell them you're in America, you don't need to do that. And when they do that on their property, it changes the whole dynamic of the neighborhood, the way the neighborhood was built. But you guys don't care nothing about that. This is what illegal immigration does. These people move into the neighborhoods that are predominantly black, part of the gentrification process, and they try to force you out. I constantly say on the Dimitri K Show, and I constantly say on my podcast, people, you have cell phones. Most city apps, you can call in graffiti, illegal dumping, whatever it is. You could do it anonymously. and the city will come and do it. This is why you don't have code enforcement as much as you used to have as far as people in code enforcement. They expect the citizen to do it now. You know, it's just like, remember everybody used to have secretaries? No, now they expect you to do your own admin. This is technology. This is AI. And I'm sitting there in the park looking at people, looking at the graffiti, and not one of those people picked up their phone to text it in or call it in. I called it in. And I know nobody called it in because usually if somebody did on our city app here in Moreno Valley, it would say this area has already been called or whatever in, because the AI gets the area that you're in, and you know it picks it up. It's an excellent app. I've never had a problem with it, and within 30 hours that graffiti is going to be gone. But we've never had it to that degree. And this just happened the last 2 days. The last 2 days. That red that was there, that wasn't there yesterday. But this is what happens in illegal immigration. They bring their children with them, dreamers, and these kids come in with the mentality that they're still living in Mexico. Anything goes. We've got to fight them and this, that, and they're going to try to take over. Remember that apartment in Colorado? But somebody better give these guys the word. You could do you could do whatever you think you want to do, but you're not going to mess up that park. Because if you guys know, that's Adrienne Mitchell Park. She was the first citizen soldier, active duty soldier in my city that got killed in combat, black female. Her father is still alive. I just went to an event with him a couple of weeks ago. I will be damned. And I knew Adrienne Mitchell, but I will be damned that her park and that street that I was running, that's known as Adrienne Avenue, named after her. I will be damned that that area gets run down and dilapidated on my watch. And I have no problem with the city. The city knows I take good care of that park and my due diligence as a citizen. But what about everybody else? What about everybody else? They come here and they don't give a damn because they're just here to get what they can get and go about their business. A lot of you liberals out there, you've got blood on your hands in regards to these illegals that have come here and have murdered Americans. Those are just facts. You've got blood on your hands. If you're for illegal immigration, you are not for unions, you are not for Americans, you have blood on your hands because you have let people... What is wrong with legal immigration? What is wrong with coming here the right way? Oh, it's racist. How am I racist? I can't go to Mexico and do what they do here. Let me walk into Mexico, which has one of the strictest, that I looked up, one of the strictest enforcement of migration into their country. Violate their rules and it's severe. It's very severe. But isn't that crazy? But on the other end, we just open the floodgates and just come on in. You're anti-American if you are for illegal immigration. What is wrong with coming here the right way? All these Americans that are being killed, maimed, and having to spend thousands of dollars to defend themselves against these criminal migrants. And not all of them are criminal, but the ones that are, you know, you're at fault. If I have to defend myself and spend thousands of dollars to defend my family and myself against criminal element trying to break in on my stuff, you're at fault. You need to send me a check. But guess what? It's just a matter of time before you get affected. There is no fortress that is impregnable. I'm Donovan Sadiq, you guys. I'm the Inland Empire Informer, nationally known as the Recovering Democrat. Also want to give you guys a heads up. A man that is running for governor, his name is David Serpa. I'm going to be putting up videos about him. A lot of great stuff. I met him last year in the campaign trail when he was running for Congress. This is a perfect time to turn California around. His name is David Serpa. Please look him up. I'm going to put his information up right after this video so you guys can see it if it's not up here already. David Serpa, I like what he has to say. You know, D or R, it doesn't matter. Vote your interest. And we're not too early to be talking about politics because what affects you is local politics. It affects you directly. Donovan Sadiq, the Recovering Democrat. See you guys.